What is good, YouTube? What is poppin' YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the future of the MCU and possibly the biggest Easter egg, if you like to call things Easter egg, in the movie Endgame. And we're also going to be talking about how this movie indirectly set up the new Avengers and also the female Avengers. So if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss the videos and hit that bell button. We are giving away a Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet at the end of May. They retail about £100-ish, $120. Pretty sick. I do display it on my Instagram an awful lot, at Warstu, if you're interested. And also, if this channel ever hits 100,000 subscribers, we will be giving away either a PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, a PS5, or the new Xbox. Why do I say PS5? Because realistically, guys, it could take us to 2020 to hit 100,000. Like I said, it's non-YouTube game. It's not a gimme. So make sure to subscribe if you're interested in that. So Endgame has been out for 2 weekends now. It has just overtaken Titanic at the cinema, or the theaters, as you guys would call it. So it's just broke 2 billion at the box office. Will it take down Avatar? Avatar's 2.7 billion. Maybe, maybe not. I don't really think it can. Why? Why Warstu? Of course, it's going to... Well, not really. Not in my opinion, because you cannot compare an Avatar standalone movie that had no build-up to a movie that's part of the biggest, one of the biggest franchises in the world, being Marvel, being Disney, being the culmination of 22 movies. So realistically, if it does take down Avatar, it doesn't really mean anything because it's one movie that has had the title since 2009, which is interesting. So Endgame's recently smashed Titanic's record at the box office. Now, I didn't really want to make a video on that because I think that is pretty lame to make just one video on kind of Endgame smashes 2 billion at the box office. No, I mean, if it smashes 3 billion, then maybe. So it is like insane to hit 2 billion in the space of 11 days. That is pretty insane. But Marvel did chuck over $250 million into marketing, so can you really blame it? And we have people going to watch this movie 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times, which for me is insane. Yeah, cool movie, but really watching it that many times? I mean, damn, you could buy the most expensive Blu-ray box with that money. So let's get into the video. So Endgame set up the X-Men, it set up the Fantastic Four, it set up it literally set up the future of the MCU as we know it. Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is apparently coming tomorrow. It's trailer 2, which is interesting. And apparently, spoiler warning, click out of the video if you don't want to know. Apparently in tomorrow's trailer, it's going to be revealed that Mysterio is actually from another Earth. So essentially, Spider-Man trailer 2 is actually going to be introduced in the multiverse, but if you've watched Endgame, you already know why. So this is why Phase 4 is going to be so different, and this is why Spider-Man Far From Home had to end Phase 3 whilst introducing the multiverse or Earth 616 or a bunch of storylines from the comics. So that is fantastic. So there was also one big character introduced in this movie. Kind of. So Okoye said there was a disruption on this East Pacific Atlantic. So essentially there was an earthquake underwater, and it could very well be Namor. Yes, Namor, the underwater assassin. Very similar to Aquaman in ways, you can say, because realistically they're both underwater. But what is interesting is the director for Doctor Strange 2, Scott Derrickson, tweeted out an image of Namor and then instantly got rid of it. It's almost like someone at Marvel Studios told him to remove that tweet instantly because it's a massive tease for Endgame. Realistically, does it confirm Namor? Kind of. So let's go into who is Namor and what is he about. So I can see why people think he is like Aquaman, because it is Atlantean, it is Atlantis based. So, Namor, the submariner, is the ruler of the underseas of Atlantis. So, in that respect, very similar to Aquaman. So why wouldn't they want to introduce Aquaman? You know, it did very well for DC, grossed $1 billion, which is insane for DC, the offspring of a sea captain and an Atlantean prince. He has been both a hero and a villain to the surface world. Namor is one of Marvel's oldest published characters, and its origins is even in the Golden Age. What is interesting is Marvel Comics has been pushing Namor fairly recently in Marvel Comics. Now, we all know that Marvel Comics is a joke compared to DC Comics, but let's not go into that. Marvel Comics is pretty bad compared to DC, But let's not go into that, guys. So there is a lot of evidence mounting up that Namor is possibly coming, but first they'd have to get over the fact they don't actually own him 100%. But what is interesting is he does have ties and has come across Loki and Dormammu before, so that would be interesting. Although the Doctor Strange 2 director did actually hint at him, a lot of people seem to think he would show up in Black Panther 2, mainly because it was Okoye from Black Panther from Wakanda who referenced him on the off chance that no one actually picked up on him. So, is he coming to the MCU in Phase 4? Now, he has been in a bunch of well, I say leaks, but you never know if it's real, leaked kind of slates for Phase 4. Now, he has been rumoured and teased for years, realistically, for the whole of the MCU, really, if you look hard enough. So, I would love to know down below, guys, do you want to see Namor in MCU Phase 4 or whatever they're going to call it? Because we know there's going to have to be a bunch of new heroes and also villains appear. But from the sub-context of how we get it in Endgame, Okoye says that there's some disruption, some earthquakes underneath the sea. But what is interesting to me is no one seems to care, or no one can care, because the Avengers cannot help in an earthquake situation. But what is interesting is this is specifically happening in Wakanda, and Namor has in the comics declared war on Wakanda before. So it's literally coming straight from the comic books, winking you in the face saying, yeah, he could come to Black Panther 2, he could come to Doctor Strange 2. So it's fair to say that they're definitely winking at you from behind the camera. Interesting. There's so many ties that Namar's had to Wakanda that the possibility of him appearing in Doctor Strange 2 isn't very high because of these references and the fact that Okoye says, oh, there's some disruptions in Wakanda and no one really can help. So I'm presuming she's saying this at the time because there is no T'Challa, there's no Black Panther. Obviously, this is at the start of the film, realistically. So it is going to be interesting to see what actually happens in the future of the MCU. So we can't avoid this, guys. We really can't avoid this. Is the fact that the last Avengers movie ever was Endgame, and essentially what's going to happen is they're going to have to reboot the Avengers. The new Avengers is coming. Phase 4 beyond, Phase 5, Phase 6. It's going to be a complete new Avengers team. I know it's going to be sad to see an Avengers team without Iron Man, without the original Captain America. As we know, he did give the shield to Sam. So yes, Sam pretty much will take over the mantle of Captain America. Whether they actually give him the super serum, it will be interesting. So essentially, let me know down below, guys, who is going to be in the new Avengers. Now, obviously, we know Captain Marvel will be the leader because she's the strongest Avenger. But as we know, Doctor Strange is going to be pinnacle. He will also be in it. We know that T'Challa, Black Panther could possibly be in it. No, he will definitely be in it. So they are three staple characters who would definitely be in it. And then obviously Spider-Man, but this is where it gets a bit tricky because obviously the Spider-Man deals ends after Spider-Man Far From Home. No, I'm joking, it doesn't. The Spider-Man 3, as Amy Pascal's recently left Sony to take a position on at Universal. And although she said in the interview that she still will be working with the Spider-Man deal and stuff, I don't really believe that. I don't really think that's going to happen. Why? Because whoever takes over from her will take charge of the Spider-Man and the MCU contract. Now, I read my comments and a lot of you guys go, well, the deal isn't just Amy Pascal. Yes, I know the deal isn't just her, but she is the pinnacle force behind Spider-Man being in the MCU. And realistically, Spider-Man Homecoming only grossed $880 million, which isn't really that much. It's only just a tiny bit more than Venom. So hopefully the MCU can keep Spider-Man, because I would prefer Spider-Man to be in the MCU. And obviously, Namor could be a villain for the said new Avengers, and it could come out in 2023, which is the year the Endgame is left in. So this is where it gets interesting. So obviously the Hulk is owned by mainly Universal, I believe. So the Hulk deal is coming to an end as well. So they have to renegotiate the use of Hulk in the Avengers movie. So that could be a very interesting pinnacle character for the new Avengers. Because to be honest, the new Avengers team is going to be very, very random. Then we get into our OP character. Well, our second OP character. The first OP character is Captain Marvel. Then technically we have Doctor Strange's OP. But this is going to be a Doctor Strange without the Time Stone. Because, obviously, we are in the concurrent timeline now where Thanos got rid of all the stones. So he might be the Sorcerer Supreme. He might be the best person ever. The Ancient One said he's supposed to be the best of all of us. He does not have the time stone. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he can defend Earth from all these dark attacks and darkness and the dark dimension and all these crazy attacks without the time stone. Obviously, he can still do these. He can still open portals and do all this voodoo stuff without the time stone. But losing that time stone is going to be very pinnacle. So I'm referring to Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch will be very pinnacle because technically she is an X-Men. Technically. So that is most likely how they're going to go about introducing the X-Men when they finally do. So that will be pretty interesting. Now, one thing that surprised me, that really surprised me, is the fact that War Machine did not die during Endgame. Why? Because obviously the Iron Man franchise is done with, it's done, it's dusted, it's done with. So are they keeping War Machine around? Obviously to be part of the new Avengers, because a bunch of Avengers are going to be leaving. Obviously we know Thor will always be an Avenger, and we know Chris Hemsworth has a new contract that does include new phases of Marvel. He renegotiated it for Infinity War and for Endgame, around $15–20 million per movie. So we do know that Thor will be part of this, but it's going to be such a different team without Iron Man and without the original Captain America. So are they realistically setting up Namor to be the first villain? I don't really think Neymar's strong enough to be the first villain of the new Avengers. Obviously, when you factor in they've got the Hulk, they've got Captain Marvel, they've got Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and all them characters left, it will have to be a galactic kind of Galactus character, or Doctor Doom, or the Beyonder, or Live Tribunal. It's going to have to be a cosmic being that's super OP. So guys, I would love to know who you think is going to be in the new Avengers. Who do you want to be in the new Avengers? And are you happy with the new Avengers? And also, what movie do you think Namor is going to appear in? Because that obviously was a cheeky wink to Namor destroying Wakanda and declaring war on Wakanda in the comic books, obviously during the Avengers versus X-Men run. So it would be very interesting if they could do something like that. Obviously, it is interesting how Namor invaded Wakanda in all his fury. Namor is so freaking OP. It'd be interesting to see if we ever get the Red Hulk. Can Vision return? Because Scarlet Witch obviously said in the movie they both know, implying Black Widow and Vision are both dead, but then we've got WandaVision. So it would be pretty cool if Vision was part of this. Would be pretty interesting, but obviously a lot of people keep asking and saying, can Black Widow return? No. Putting the Soul Stone back does absolutely nothing. A soul for eternity. It can never be undone. Never. You know, Banner tried to bring her back when he did the finger snap, where he fingered the universe, brought everyone back. No, she cannot return. So guys, let me know everything that you think about the video down below. I'm going to be focusing more on Phase 4 stuff. As you know, tomorrow we most likely will be getting the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer 2, which is going to have a massive Endgame spoiler, which realistically won't be much more than either the multiverse or time travel or some reference to Tony Stark dying, which will be cool because it's going to be an emotional scene, obviously, because you know the scene when they were filming in London when he looks up in the sky. I guarantee that is a scene with him either having a vision of Tony Stark or remembering Tony Stark or something on their lines. So guys, let me know everything down below. We will be focusing more on Phase 4 stuff now and shows like Game of Thrones and other random stuff like that, and the Sonic movie, Detective Pikachu, stuff like that. We've got Detective Pikachu coming out later this week on Friday, which I can't wait for. That's going to be absolutely insane. So like always guys, please like, subscribe and comment. I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.